I have this 1966 Stella guitar from Harmony. It has this huge crack in the body, but it does have the original bridge and the tailpiece and the tuners. It would be playable as a slide guitar with the original bridge, but I want to see if I can make a new bridge so I can play it as a regular guitar. I think the quickest, easiest way to do that is with Sculpey clay. For the actual bridge, I'm just going to use a piece of fret wire. I can just poke it into the Sculpey and actually bake it with the fret in there. I'm going to cut a piece of parchment paper to go between the guitar and the Sculpey clay while I'm pressing it into shape, and then I can bake the bridge right on the parchment paper. This fret was originally a 12-inch radius, so I tried to flatten it out as much as possible to match the original radius on the Harmony bridge. Then I'm just going to press the fret right into the poly clay. So the guitar does play with the original bridge, but the action is high enough to fit a pencil under the strings. That's too high. It does kind of play. It also works for slide. But I just gotta find a way to get the action lower. I'm gonna slide this out. And with the strings loose, just put this one in its place. The poly clay is still soft, so I can adjust the height. And if I don't like the shape of the saddle, I can always sand it to any shape after it's baked hard. I'm gonna press the poly clay against the body until it's making flush contact where the crack is. I've now squished it down to where the action is pretty low on the fretboard and there's no buzzing. So I just have to loosen the strings and put this in the oven. Now I'm just gonna sand it down a bit, get rid of the pinch marks. I also put a couple drops of super glue on the fret itself to make sure there's no way it's gonna fall out. So far I've pretty thoroughly sanded away the saddle in front of the bridge, but I haven't sanded away the saddle behind the bridge very much because I left some placeholders. So I'll have to go in there with the nut slot file and also sand away a lot of the extra space. When the saddle's touching the strings behind the bridge, you get this sitar-like buzz, which is kind of weird and not normally desired, but it's also kind of cool. So before I fix that problem, I kind of want to jam with this guitar on a different tuning and make it sound like a sitar kind of. So if you want it to sound like a sitar, you can have some fun with that. I sanded down the saddle, and then so the strings wouldn't slide around This is a piece of wood that I glued on there and painted white. When I'm putting the new saddle into place, and I'm gonna tuck some sticky tack underneath anywhere that there's a gap to help hold it in place. I've only got a couple steps left, so I was really eager to finish. So I didn't get it recorded, but I quickly sanded down the warped and cracked area under the tailpiece to make it sit lower against the body. And then I put this screw in. This screw is actually screwed into a block of wood that's glued to the underside of the body, so it's not just screwed into the body. I needed to lower the tailpiece as much as possible so that the strings have a good amount of downward tension on the bridge.